The internet is a vast, endless ocean of information, a digital labyrinth where secrets hide in plain sight. While most of us use it for entertainment, news, or social interaction, there are corners of the web that hold unexplained, chilling mysteries that defy logic. Strange videos appearing without a trace, cryptic messages from beyond the grave, and unsettling websites that seem to know more about you than they should. Tonight, we dive into 4 of the most obscure and unsettling internet mysteries, cases that remain unsolved, leaving behind only questions, speculation, and a lingering sense of unease. But before we begin, ask yourself, what if one of these stories was real? What if the next strange email, video, or message you encounter is meant for you? Let's begin. It was November 22nd, 1987. A seemingly normal Sunday evening in Chicago, Illinois. Viewers tuned in to WGN-TV's 9 o'clock news, expecting the usual rundown of local stories and sports highlights. But as sportscaster Dan Roan was delivering his segment on the Chicago Bears, something disturbing happened. The screen suddenly flickered, distorted, and cut to black. Then, as static cleared, something completely unnerving appeared. A figure stood before the camera wearing a rubber Max Headroom mask, a warped imitation of the artificial intelligence TV host from the 1980s. Behind him, a metallic spinning background wobbled erratically, as if someone had hastily set up a piece of sheet metal to mimic the real Max Headroom's digital backdrops. But this wasn't a simple prank. The figure's movements were erratic, unnatural, almost robotic. His voice was warped, glitching between distorted laughter and cryptic, nonsensical phrases. The hijacking lasted only about 28 seconds before WGN's engineers managed to regain control of the signal. News anchors, confused and unsettled, brushed it off as a technical glitch. But that was only the beginning. Just 2 hours later, at 11:15 p.m., another attack occurred, this time on WTTW, Chicago's PBS affiliate station, which was airing an episode of Doctor Who. But unlike the first interruption, this time, no one was able to stop it. For 90 horrifying seconds the masked figure returned, but this time the broadcast was even more disturbing. His words were bizarre, cryptic, and at times unsettlingly personal. He mocked television networks, mentioned WGN's previous hijacking, and made seemingly meaningless statements like, "Yeah, I just made a giant masterpiece for all the greatest world newspaper nerds." Then suddenly, his tone shifted. His distorted voice cracked into eerie laughter and guttural noises. He moaned, grunted, and shrieked unintelligible words before pulling down his pants and exposing his backside to the camera. At that moment, a second figure, whose face was never shown, entered the frame holding a fly swatter and began spanking the masked man. The audio became a chaotic mess of screams, static, and robotic noises until, without warning, the screen cut to black. The broadcast resumed as if nothing had happened. But across Chicago, viewers were horrified. Many called the stations confused and disturbed, wondering who or what they had just witnessed. The hijackers had pulled off something unprecedented. In 1987, taking over a television signal required serious technical expertise and access to broadcast towers. This wasn't a simple pirate radio stunt. This was a carefully planned attack on major TV stations. The FCC, Federal Communications Commission, and the FBI launched an investigation, but despite analyzing hundreds of leads, they never found the culprits. How was it possible? At the time, TV stations used large satellite dishes to transmit their signals, which could, in theory, be hijacked if someone overpowered them with a stronger transmission. But doing so would require expensive, specialized equipment and precise knowledge of how and when to interrupt the feed. Even stranger, WGN's engineers later claimed that whoever did this had to be transmitting from within city limits, close enough to overpower their signal. So, was it a rogue technician? A disgruntled engineer with inside knowledge? Or was it something much more deliberate? Inside Job, Some speculate that a rogue station employee was involved, someone who had knowledge of the broadcast frequencies and how to hijack them. The strange, mocking phrases targeting WGN-TV suggest the hijackers had a personal grudge against the station. Technical pranksters. A few theorists believe it was the work of a group of skilled hackers or signal pirates, testing their ability to disrupt mainstream media for the sake of chaos. But if so, why didn't they take credit? Anarchist or political statement? The Max Headroom character was a symbol of corporate media and artificial intelligence taking over entertainment. Some believe the hijackers were making a cryptic statement about media control and the dangers of technology, something more sinister. A darker theory suggests the hijackers were testing something. The second broadcast, with its bizarre, almost ritualistic spanking scene, was so surreal and unsettling that some believe it had a deeper, more disturbing purpose. Was it a coded message meant for someone specific? A hidden recruitment test for an underground group? Or was it something even more sinister? To this day, no one knows who was behind the Max Headroom incident. Despite over 35 years of speculation, forensic video analysis, and internet sleuthing, the identity of the masked figure remains one of the most chilling, unsolved cases in television history, and the most unsettling part, whoever was behind it got away with it completely. No arrests, no confessions, no further attacks. It was as if they vanished into thin air. But one question lingers. Was this truly a one-time stunt? Or is someone out there waiting for the right moment to do it again? Television hijackings are rare, but the Max Headroom incident remains the most infamous. Even now, new theories and potential leads emerge online, but none have definitively solved the case. What do you think? Was it a prank? A hidden message? A test for something much bigger? Or is the truth even stranger than we could imagine? Stay curious, but be careful what you seek. The internet is filled with bizarre, cryptic content, but some things stand out, things that seem deliberate yet incomprehensible, as if they weren't meant to be found. One such mystery surfaced on March 30th, 2015, when a YouTube channel with the name Unfavorable Semicircle suddenly appeared. At first it went unnoticed, just another anonymous, obscure account uploading meaningless content. But then, people began to notice something strange. The channel was uploading thousands of videos, rapidly and at an alarming rate. The videos were unlike anything ever seen on YouTube. Each was cryptic, unsettling, and seemingly nonsensical. They consisted of abstract, pixelated visuals, often just a single dot or shape shifting in color, garbage data in video titles, often appearing as alphanumeric sequences like Brill 00069 or ===, distorted robotic voices whispering numbers, letters, and fragmented words that made no sense, glitched out images sometimes resembling static but never forming anything recognizable. Each video was only a few seconds long, yet the uploads came in waves, hundreds per hour, as if the channel was being run by an unstoppable, automated process. Then things got even stranger. Whenever Reddit or internet sleuths started investigating the channel, the content would shift, as if someone or something was watching. One of the earliest and most notable videos was titled Lock. It consisted of a low-frequency droning noise that sounded like a distant machine humming. A single dot pulsating against a black background, shifting slightly in shape. A garbled robotic voice mumbling something unintelligible. People tried analyzing the audio, searching for hidden messages in the spectrogram, a technique often used to hide images in sound waves. But nothing clear emerged. Another strange upload was titled Triangulum, a name referring to a small constellation in deep space. The video was even more confusing than the rest. Some viewers claimed they could hear faint whispers beneath the distortion, while others saw unrecognizable symbols flash for a split second before vanishing. The pattern continued. Each video felt like a puzzle, a transmission meant for someone, or something, else. But then came the most unsettling detail. A key aspect of Unfavorable Semicircle was its seemingly reactive nature. When people started discussing the channel on Reddit, the uploads dramatically increased, as if the channel knew it was being watched. When users tried commenting on videos, the next uploads contained sequences that matched parts of their usernames or words they had posted. And when one user jokingly commented "send help" under a video, the very next upload was titled "help." At this point, paranoia set in. Was it a complex AI experiment, a coded intelligence operation, or something far more disturbing? The more attention it received, the more aggressive the uploads became, until, suddenly, it stopped. By early 2016, Unfavorable Semicircle had attracted the attention of several large internet communities, YouTubers, and digital forensics experts. Some tried to decode the numerical patterns in the titles, while others suspected it was a hidden recruitment process for a secret organization, similar to Cicada 3301. Then, in February 2016, YouTube suddenly terminated the channel. No explanation was given. Thousands of videos gone overnight. The termination notice only stated that the channel violated YouTube's policies. But what policies? What had it done wrong? No one knew. Even stranger, after YouTube deleted the channel, no one was able to find any official mirrors, backups, or re-uploads of its complete content. Most of what remains today is fragments, small clips saved by users before the deletion. But why did YouTube delete it? Was it something dangerous, or something we simply weren't supposed to see? One of the most popular theories is that Unfavorable Semicircle was an artificial intelligence test. Some believe the channel was created by a tech company or government agency experimenting with neural networks and AI-generated content. The bizarre visuals, numbers, and robotic voices could have been part of a machine learning algorithm attempting to develop communication patterns. But if that were true, why was it reacting to users in real time? And why did YouTube shut it down so suddenly? It was a number station in digital form. Number stations are shortwave radio transmissions that have existed since the Cold War. They broadcast seemingly random number sequences, believed to be coded messages for spies. What if Unfavorable Semicircle was the same thing, but in YouTube form? Some speculate that the random numbers in the video titles were encrypted communications meant for a specific recipient. If so, YouTube may have removed it under government pressure for violating national security laws. But who was the message meant for? And more importantly, what was it saying? It was an ARG, alternate reality game, that went too far. Some theorists believe Unfavorable Semicircle was an ARG, alternate reality game, designed to engage internet users in an interactive mystery. If true, this would mean that everything, the weird audio, the cryptic video titles, the bizarre pixel patterns, were carefully planned clues leading to a bigger story. But no solution was ever found. No endgame. And if it was a game, who was running it? It was something we weren't supposed to find. This is perhaps the darkest theory. What if Unfavorable Semicircle was never meant to be discovered by the public? What if it was a private project that was accidentally exposed, and once people started digging too deep, it had to be erased? Was it a failed experiment? A message between unknown entities, or something even more incomprehensible? The Unfavorable Semicircle channel was unlike anything else on YouTube. Even now, years later, no one has been able to definitively explain its purpose. The sheer scale of the uploads, the strange reactive behavior, and the sudden, unexplained termination only add to the mystery. What was it trying to say, and who or what was behind it? Perhaps somewhere out there the person or entity responsible is still watching, waiting for the right moment to start again. What do you think? Was Unfavorable Semicircle just a failed AI project, a spy communication tool? Or was it something even more unsettling? Something we were never meant to see? Stay curious, but be careful what you seek. On January 4, 2012, a strange message appeared on an anonymous message board, 4chan. It was a simple white text image on a black background containing an eerie message. Hello, we are looking for highly intelligent individuals. To find them, we have devised a test. There is a hidden message in this image. Find it, and it will lead you on the road to us. We look forward to meeting the few that will make it all the way through. Good luck. The image was signed with a name that would soon become one of the most famous internet mysteries ever, Cicada 3301. This was no ordinary puzzle. Unlike standard internet riddles, Cicada 3301 required advanced cryptography, deep knowledge of obscure literature, complex mathematical equations, and an understanding of steganography, techniques used to hide information within images, sounds, and text. What followed was one of the most elaborate and mind-bending internet scavenger hunts of all time, one that remains unsolved to this day. But the biggest mystery? Who was behind it, and what was the purpose? At first, internet users thought it was just another online hoax, a prank designed to waste people's time. But as cryptographers, hackers, and puzzle solvers began analyzing the image, they discovered something incredible. By running the image through a steganography decoder, they uncovered a hidden message. Tiberius Claudius Caesar says Elxt. 33M2 Makiev 2 GSQ 3Q =W O2 NTK. It looked like nonsense, until someone realized it was a Caesar cipher, a type of encryption where letters are shifted by a set number of places in the alphabet. When deciphered, the text led to a URL. When users clicked the link, it revealed another image, a black and white photo of a duck with the words, "Whoops, just decoys this way. Looks like you can't guess how to get the message out." It was a taunt, an indication that only the smartest and most persistent could proceed, and those who did found themselves tumbling down a rabbit hole of cryptographic complexity. As users solved each step of the puzzle, Cicada 3301 introduced increasingly complex riddles involving obscure medieval literature, references to William Blake and Agrippa, advanced number theory and prime numbers, encrypted messages hidden in music and book pages, dark web clues that required Tor access. But then, something completely unexpected happened. The puzzle left the internet. Users who followed the clues were led to real-world locations, where they found physical posters taped to telephone poles in multiple cities around the world, including Seattle, Seoul, Paris, Warsaw, and Sydney. The posters contained QR codes which led to yet more puzzles, more encrypted messages, and more confusion. This wasn't just an online game, this was something bigger. By 2013, Cicada 3301 had become legendary. People around the world were obsessed with uncovering the truth, but that's where the real questions began. Who created Cicada 3301, and what did they want? Here are the most popular theories. A government intelligence recruitment program. One of the most logical explanations is that Cicada 3301 was a recruitment tool for a government agency like the CIA, MI6, or NSA. Think about it. Only individuals with elite cryptographic and hacking skills could solve these puzzles. What better way to identify intelligence operatives than through an open global test? Some evidence supports this. Many of the puzzle solutions involved military-grade encryption methods. The ability to locate hidden posters across different countries suggested a well-funded, organized operation. Past intelligence agencies have used similar recruitment tactics. For example, GCHQ's Can You Crack It? Challenge. But if that were true, why would a government agency use a public message board like 4chan? Wouldn't they risk attracting the wrong people, criminals, hackers, or rogue elements, or maybe that was exactly the point? Another theory suggests that Cicada 3301 was created by a highly secretive organization, possibly a global think tank, an underground research group, or even a cult-like intelligence network. Evidence supporting this theory includes the puzzles referenced philosophical and esoteric knowledge, including occult literature, medieval texts, and ancient cryptography. The final messages spoke of wanting to find free-thinking individuals who rejected authority and censorship. No commercial organization ever claimed responsibility, which suggests it wasn't a marketing stunt. Could Cicada 3301 have been an attempt to recruit people for a hidden society, one operating outside the public eye? And if so, where did they all go? Some believe Cicada 3301 was connected to hacktivist movements, such as Anonymous or WikiLeaks, groups that value privacy, security, and freedom of information. Supporting this idea, Cicada's messages often referenced online anonymity, encryption, and anti-censorship ideals. The puzzles required deep knowledge of cybersecurity, hinting that it could be a way to gather ethical hackers for a cause. But if Cicada 3301 was an activist group, why did they suddenly vanish? Why wasn't there a grand reveal, a manifesto, or a final message? This is perhaps the darkest theory. Some believe Cicada 3301 wasn't just a recruitment puzzle, but something more sinister. Consider this. The puzzles led users deeper and deeper into secrecy, isolating them into a hidden community. Those who solved the puzzles disappeared, with no public accounts of what happened next. What if Cicada wasn't a test of intelligence, but a test of obedience? Could the final recruits have been manipulated into joining something they couldn't escape? Or worse, what if they were never meant to leave? In 2014, a third Cicada puzzle appeared, but then everything stopped. The group went completely silent. The website was taken down, no new puzzles were posted, the community fell apart, there was no closure, no answers, no final message. Some believe the project was completed, that the brightest minds were chosen and taken. Others think it was a test that failed. Perhaps too many people found it, or the wrong individuals got involved. But the strangest part, even now, more than a decade later, no one has stepped forward to claim responsibility for Cicada 3301. No leaks, no whistleblowers, no explanations, just silence. Was Cicada 3301 a government experiment, a recruitment tool, a secret society, or something else entirely? And more importantly, could it still be out there? Waiting, watching, preparing for its next move. If a new message appeared tomorrow, would you try to solve it, or would you wonder, what happens when you reach the end? It was a quiet night in November 2011 when Tim Hart, a resident of Dunmore, Pennsylvania, was sitting in his living room, scrolling through his emails. Just another ordinary night, until he saw something that made his blood run cold. Sitting in his inbox was a new email from his best friend, Jack Froese. There was just one problem. Jack had been dead for 5 months. Confused and shaken, Tim hesitated for a moment before clicking on the message. It had no subject line, but the contents were even more unsettling. I'm watching. Did you hear me? I'm at your house. Clean your attic. Tim's heart pounded. The last time he had spoken to Jack before his sudden death, the two had shared a private joke about his attic being a mess. It was an inside joke, something only Jack knew about. But how was this possible? Jack was gone. And yet someone, or something, had just sent him a message from beyond the grave. At first, Tim thought it had to be a cruel prank. Maybe a hacker had accessed Jack's old email account. But then, Jack's cousin Jimmy McGraw also received an email. This one was even stranger. The subject line was empty. The message read, "Hey Jim, how you doing? I knew you were gonna break your ankle. Tried to warn you. Gotta be careful." Jimmy froze in shock. Just a few days before receiving the email, he had broken his ankle, an accident that no one could have predicted. How could Jack have known? And why was he sending these messages months after his death? As news of the ghostly email spread, people came up with theories. Could it really be Jack reaching out from the afterlife? Or was this just an elaborate hoax? Let's examine the possibilities. Theory number 1. A hacker or cruel prankster. The most logical explanation is that someone gained access to Jack's email account and decided to mess with his friends and family. But if that were true, there were some serious problems with this theory. The emails contained personal details that only Jack would know. The joke about Tim's attic was never shared publicly. The reference to Jimmy's broken ankle was incredibly specific. No one ever took credit for the prank. If this was a hacker or a cruel joke, why wouldn't they eventually come forward? The email stopped after a few messages. Most hackers or pranksters would continue the game, escalating the situation. Instead, after the initial emails, Jack never wrote again. Could this mean that whoever sent them didn't need to continue, because their message had already been delivered? Another possible explanation is that Jack had pre-written these emails and scheduled them to be sent months later. Some email services allow users to schedule messages to be delivered in the future, so theoretically Jack could have written these emails before his sudden death, not knowing he wouldn't be around to see them sent. But this theory also raises questions. Jack's death was completely unexpected. Jack Froese died suddenly of a heart arrhythmia, a condition that causes the heart to beat irregularly and can lead to cardiac arrest. He had no way of knowing he was going to die, so why would he schedule emails to be sent after his passing? How did he predict the broken ankle? Scheduling a message about Tim's attic is possible, but there's no way Jack could have known that Jimmy would break his ankle months later. Unless Jack had some kind of supernatural foresight, this doesn't quite add up. Now here's where things get really unsettling. Some people believe that the internet is more connected to the spirit world than we realize. There have been numerous cases of deceased individuals appearing online, whether through automated reminders, social media glitches, or unexplained digital activity. Could it be possible that Jack's consciousness somehow remained connected to his email account? Some people believe in a residual digital footprint, a theory that suggests that our data, memories, and even our thoughts could remain embedded in the internet or electronic systems after we die. If this were true, it could explain how Jack's email account was still active after his death, but in ways no human could have orchestrated. This is the theory that Tim and Jimmy themselves believe, that Jack somehow sent those emails from the afterlife. If spirits exist, could they manipulate digital systems to communicate? Many paranormal investigators believe that ghosts can influence electronic devices such as EVP, electronic voice phenomena, ghostly voices captured on audio recordings, phone calls from the dead, cases where deceased loved ones' phone numbers have called the living, mysterious text messages, where a deceased person's number suddenly becomes active. Jack's emails could be one of the strongest examples of this phenomenon. If spirits can manipulate electricity, could they also manipulate emails, social media, or even artificial intelligence to send messages? Perhaps Jack wanted to let his loved ones know he was still watching over them, and used the only method he had left. After Tim and Jimmy received their emails, no more messages from Jack were ever sent. It was as if he had delivered his final words, and then moved on. If it was a prank, why stop? If it was a scheduled message, why only send a few? And if it really was Jack, why did he choose those particular words? Years later, no one has solved the mystery of Jack Froese's emails. Even professional cybersecurity experts have never found any evidence of hacking. To this day, Jack's family and friends remain convinced that it was really him, reaching out from beyond the grave, delivering one final message before disappearing forever. But one question remains. If Jack could send an email from beyond death, who else might be watching your inbox? And what happens if, one day, you receive an email from someone who isn't supposed to be alive? What do you think? Was this just a cruel joke, a digital glitch, a coincidence? Or was Jack really reaching out from beyond the veil? Stay curious, but be careful what you seek. The internet is full of mysteries, some explained, others waiting to be uncovered. But the real question is, how many more are out there? And what happens when the next one finds you? If you want to keep diving into the unknown, subscribe and stay with us. Who knows what we'll uncover next?